Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. Historically, most superheroes have been fairly monochromatic, but in recent years we've seen a nice surge of representation in comics, and while controversial to some, it has definitely widened the spectrum of heroes. There are some pretty awesome black heroes out there, both new and old, so in honor of Black History Month, it's time for the top 10 black superheroes. And in our celebration of Black History Month, for the rest of the week we'll be spotlighting all of your favorite black superheroes. So join us for the rest of the week. Number 10. Black Panther. With the Black Panther movie on the way, comic fans everywhere have T'Challa on the brain. He was pretty revolutionary in comics though. Not only was he the first mainstream black superhero, but he actually got his name before the Black Panther Party got theirs. So he was the OG. T'Challa is a really sick hero, both as the powerful and talented chief of the Wakandas, and fighting crime with the help of his vibranium suit. Definitely the coolest looking hero in the MCU, and his African origins were quite unique in comics for the time. Number 9. RIRI Williams. RIRI definitely has her haters, but that doesn't stop her from being an awesome character. RIRI came onto the scene in some pretty turbulent times, having essentially replaced one of the most popular Marvel heroes ever, Tony Stark. And the fact that she was a black woman made it even harder for some fans to accept her. However, she's really impressive. She's super smart, incredibly creative, and did I mention that she built a frickin' Iron Man suit in her dorm room at age 15? Yeah, she clearly knows her stuff. So to any RIRI haters out there, give her a chance. It's not like Tony was gone forever, and she definitely adds a new dimension to the comics. Number 8. Blade. Blade might be pushing the definition of superhero, but I won't be doing a top 10 black anti-heroes list, so he's gotta be on here. Blade is a quasi-vampire who goes around and hunts down vamps. Using a plethora of wicked weapons, including his signature double-edged sword, his comics have some of the best hack and slash action out there. Now, the early Blade comics are not the most racially sensitive. He was kind of a walking stereotype in looks and the things he says. He was even trained by a black jazz trumpeter. Pretty cliche. I mean, it's not as bad as this, but it isn't great. That said, he was totally awesome, and the comics do get better with this, so I'll take a bit of early stereotyping to get a badass protagonist in the end. I say that like it's up to me. Number 7. Black Lightning. Jefferson Pierce grew up in the slums of Metropolis, living with his mother after his father was killed. While he had the power of electrokinesis, he was rather reluctant to use it in heroics, only being convinced to become Black Lightning when he realized the cops just weren't doing their jobs well enough. In the comics, he kept his identity hidden by hamming up 70s black stereotypes while in character, putting on an afro and talking all jive. But he's actually a really deep and interesting character with varied interests, including a love of poetry. He's also an awesome athlete, so he's physically very fit, and he can even enhance his own strength and durability with his powers. Not too shabby. Number 6. Steel. Oh boy. Steel. So John Henry Irons, and of course his last name was Irons, was a weapons engineer whose life was saved by Superman. In an attempt to make his life worthwhile, Irons decided to help fight Doomsday with a sledgehammer. Needless to say, it didn't work, but he later built an awesome power suit and became one of the 4 Supermen while the main man was assumed dead. He went by Man of Steel, which was later shortened to Steel, and he could throw down. And then he was totally screwed over when they decided to make a film about him starring none other than Shaquille O'Freakin-Neal. Ugh. Number 5. Miles Morales. Miles Morales is a Spider-Man from an alternate universe who took on the role after Peter's death. He eventually ended up on Earth 616 following the destruction of Battle World, and has been a pretty popular version of the web-slinger ever since. What's really cool about him is he brings all new powers to the table. He, unlike Peter, can essentially turn invisible by camouflaging against the background. Plus, he can use bioelectrokinesis, which lets him electrocute people or deactivate technology with venom blasts using the energy of his body. So sick. As with any superhero semi-replacement, he was met with some backlash, but he's since found a pretty nice spot on the Marvel roster. Number 4. John Stewart. No, not that John Stewart, the Green Lantern one. John Stewart was the 4th Green Lantern from Earth, having been brought on when Guy Gardner was injured. Stewart's race was pushed to the forefront in his very first mission when he was sent to protect a racist politician. While he initially seemed to shirk his duties out of hate for the racist, it was revealed that he saw through the politician's ruse. Turns out the jerk was trying to fake an assassination attempt from an African American for political gain. clean, classy. John ended up being a pretty great Lantern and quite the fan favorite. He's quite a bit more serious than other Lanterns since he's a military veteran, which I really like. Plus, as the master builder, his constructs are some of the most impressive out there. He might not be the most powerful of Earth's Lanterns, but damn is he interesting. Number 3. Luke Cage. Luke Cage, unfortunately known as Power Man for a time, has seen an awful lot of screen time recently with the new Marvel shows on Netflix. With his super strength and bulletproof skin, he kicked all kinds of bad guy butt. Now, as a black man in the 70s, race has always been a significant factor in Cage's heroics. It's no coincidence that this proud black man actually derives his power from his skin, and he's been rather inspirational to people of color over the years. Now, with his Netflix show drawing some weird criticism for having too many black people, it seems like the fight is just beginning for Cage. Number 2. Spawn. I know, he's probably more of an anti-hero like Blade, but I love anti-heroes and Spawn is awesome, and his skin color was actually a pretty big part of his character. If you're unfamiliar, Al Simmons became Spawn when he died and made a deal with Malebolgia to go back to Earth in a ballin' costume, and he killed criminals. A lot. Spawn was played by Michael Jai White in the '97 movie, making him the first African American to play a major superhero on film. Spawn was actually so proud of his heritage that when given a chance to be returned to a human body, he refused because the body was white. Number 1. Storm. Storm is one of the most popular X-Men of all time, and she's been involved in quite a few stories about racism. With the X-Men comics being so metaphorically entrenched in the civil rights movement, the black female star of the comics was in the limelight a fair bit. She was super iconic as one of the few black members of the X-Men and really one of the few black superheroes for some time. Plus, she wasn't just a token black character, she was one of the most powerful X-Men. She had amazing abilities, plus she was the head of Xavier's school and even led the X-Men for quite some time. Storm was basically the epitome of the minority as a black female mutant, and it really resonated with a huge portion of the US and the world. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please smack that thumbs up button and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more videos. Did I miss your favorite? If you want a part 2, I can do more, like Cyborg and Aqualad, and Sam Wilson, and Rhodey, and Frozone, and Hancock. Oh, there are so many good ones. Anyway, until next time, I'm Ron McKenzie with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.